And out of that, I was not blaming her that, you know, you brought me to this world. Because now I've even seen people in my generation who are always blaming their parents. You know, my parents didn't give me this. You know, in 1996 this happened to me. That's truly crap. Like, people need to get over that and move to a place where you actually now model your life according to who you are. Because now you are here, it's you. How do you now? Don't blame anyone. Now take responsibility and now start curating a new way for yourself as you grow older. Yeah.
We are on an amazing journey. Super excited for each and every single one of you who is taking this journey with us. Yani, I am super excited. We are on a quest to have 100 leaders with us within the year of 2025. And we don't just want to throw leaders in for the sake of throwing and for the sake of hitting those numbers, but we want to bring leaders who are making an impact. And I'm super excited because today's guest is exactly that. First and foremost, she is a female. I want more women on this platform. Actually, also, we need a lot of guys on this platform. Women are standing up to the plate. So a big thank you for that. Number two, I'm trying to also show that this leadership journey is not just for people over the age of 40. So this is somebody who is a leader below the age of 40 who is accomplishing some amazing, amazing, amazing things. Number three, this lady touches not just the country known as Kenya, not just the continent known as Africa, but her impact is global. Yes, that is the leader we have in our house. I know you want me to throw credentials, but I ain't gonna do so because I want you to watch the CTA. So ladies and gentlemen, Wamai, Aizo, and Meg, put your hands together for none other than Mary Njoki.
Wow.
Welcome back. First of all, I have to tell them. Can I tell them?
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah.
I said welcome back because you see this clip that is on the screen? Mary actually came last year to do her CTA. And while we were doing it, her voice went. Tuliomba, we tried everything, it didn't come. But what we say, everything happens in God's timing. And the fact that she's here with us today, is God's timing. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Have you been since we last saw you on CTA?
One thing I want to say, I now have a restored voice.
You have wow.
Yeah, so.
Umeanza na deepness.
Lazima.
You have a restored voice.
Yes.
So you know what I liked about this? I was saying that and when I called you again, I said, you know what? It hit me that last year I was doing a lot of financial conversations. Yeah. And I feel like part of the reason why you had to be here this time is because now I'm doing leadership conversations. Yeah. And when I called you, you told me, by the way, I've just come from?
A leadership conversation in Cape Town.
So how amazing is that it's connected?
Yeah.
Yeah. The tidbit that I'll throw for you just to understand, I don't want to just throw titles out there. I want your story to be the unveiling of your life. Yeah. The title, so that the titles can have meaning. Yeah. It's like a jigsaw puzzle and we're trying to put a lot of different pieces. Yeah. Sasa?
Awesome.
Mimi nimeongea excess. It is time for me to hand it over to you. Okay. Ready to start?
Yes.
First question that I love asking on this platform is, and the only question that I come with, when were you born and where?
Thank you. When I was born in 1989, January 24th. It's part of my birthday.
That makes you 36?
6, yes.
36.
I just turned 36 last month. I was born in a village I was born in Limuru and then grew up in a village called Gara.
Okay. Your CTA, I'm going to throw leadership questions while getting your life.
Yes.
So you've already just said something. And a question has just come.
Yeah.
At 36, are you currently leading people?
Yes. Currently leading a farm, which is a Pan-African agency, where I started out in Kenya, and we'll get into that, and grew into the Pan-African region. So I'm leading a team across Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start from the village.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giri?
Garariga.
Garariga.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So born in Limuru, born in a single mother family, and then grew up in a village called Garariga. And just so that we also have conversation about leadership, even as I was growing up, which I didn't know it was leadership, I discovered in my growing up, despite the how the environment looked like, because we grew up in, I mean, you have access to farms, so you get food, but then
Subsistence living.
yeah, but then it was not the living that you thought it was normal, but then when you're exposed, you realize, wow, we were actually not doing well, So I can't say I grew up in a very well doing family.
Yeah.
But then also
You're the firstborn?
No.
Okay.
So I'm the second born and the last born. So I have an older brother who was 10 years older than me. So actually I grew up alone because he was more like when I was in class 1, he was in form 1. So we never interacted at that particular point.
Okay.
But then just to go back to how I now shaped my life as a leader, that at that point when I was young, I started modeling my life outside what I was seeing or outside the environment that I was living in.
Okay.
Which was quite interesting, and I didn't realize it, but when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's how I was different from all the kids. But then
let me slow you down.
Yes.
I love that you've said different from what you are seeing. So make us see this thing that you are seeing.
Okay.
So I've had that name. I'm having problems pronouncing it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. What's it again?
Garariga.
Garariga.
Yes.
Okay, now I can pronounce it. Garariga.
Yeah. Yes.
So, and it is where? In
Limuru.
In Limuru.
Yes.
So paint me context of, do you have your own standalone house? Are you in a community setting? Like, what does that look like?
So, my mom was, she retired. My mom was a primary school teacher. So most of the time would live in houses that they offer teachers in primary schools. So I remember we moved a little bit, especially when she was moved to different schools, but most of the time would live in a community.
Okay.
With other kids from other teachers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I grew up.
Is there electricity?
No.
You know, again.
Actually, we think these things are obvious or they're
normal, yes.
Normal to people. Oh my.
So for you, like you see, even that's what I'm saying. Let me paint me the picture.
Yeah.
So it's a community, but this is stone houses, but no electricity.
No, they were not stone. I remember they were wooden houses mostly. Like I remember the one where I was between class 1 and class 5, we were living in a wooden house, which they would offer the teachers at that particular point, and then would live with other teachers on that compound. Like there were 4 houses. So
you share, there's a shared bathroom in an essence?
Outside, yes. Shared bathroom, latrines. I'm sure that people have never seen latrines.
Yeah.
No electricity. I mean, I think I interacted with electricity probably when I was in high school.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, no electricity. You go to school, you're taught English in Kikuyu. Eno ne cup. Repeat. Eno ne cup. This is a cup, So that's the environment where, everyone is living their village Kikuyu or rather life, Yeah. We also learned, so those schools they would teach us 3 languages, English, Kiswahili, and Kikuyu. So Kikuyu was part of the syllabus from class 1 to class 3.
Wow.
Yeah. But then now English will be taught in Kikuyu because the people don't understand English. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm loving your energy. Yeah. Keep that energy going.
It has come.
It's come.
Yeah.
So, your mom is a teacher. Are you going to the same school as... Your dad is not in this picture?
Yes.
You've not had him in the picture?
Yeah.
As far as you can remember?
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Okay, so it's you and your mom. Your brother is there, but then, of course, he's in school boarding.
Yeah. Okay.
So when do you start school then?
I actually started school quite early. And I think because they could not, I don't even think they had the concept of a house help. Because I never had a house help or knew about house helps. So she took me to school in one of her days that she was going to school because she didn't know where to take me. And I ended up joining class. So I started school at the age of 3. And then those days in nursery school, you just do 2 years. So by age 5, I was in class 1.
Okay. Still same place with your mom?
Yes, same place with my mom till class 4 before she moved now to another school, and then we still moved together.
Yeah.
But then, so by that made me to be the youngest person all my life in class for me now to end up later finishing high school at the age of 16.
And then you're also small.
That's how it started. And then I was small. I was the shortest. You know, in the village, they used to do those, what do you call them? They'd ask people to touch their back. I think I wasn't asked because I was, like, put your hand so that you're able to touch know, that thing. They never asked me to do that because maybe I was a teacher's child.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up getting into school.
Okay, actually, they make you do the ear test.
Is it the ear?
Yeah,
There's another one for...
Oh, there's one for the back.
Yeah, like whether your hands can meet at the back.
Oh, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because of weight.
Yeah,
so that muscle, sorry, because of muscle.
Yeah, good one. So I think that, yeah, that's what they would use for other people, but it never was used for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start going to school.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to know a bit more of this. Oh, but you started school so young. So school and almost feels like home for you. It's one of the same.
I mean, it's the same compound anyway. Yeah. So the teachers, they're given the houses in the same compound. It's just that it's a bit further from the classes, but it's the same compound, yes.
So no, literally for you, school and home is the same one.
Yeah,
it's intertwined.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to class 3. Hey, that's young.
Yeah.
By the time you're going to explain to me the now class 1.
Yeah.
You're 5.
Yeah. I don't quite remember for some reason. I don't have clear memory, maybe because I was quite young. But all I know, I was average in class, and I never repeated any class, so they just moved me to class 2, class 3, class 4. Like, there's a way I was just a hidden average student. I was never like the top student or the bottom student, but I was somewhere there, but I would still, it's like I was hidden throughout. So I'll just go to the next class. But one thing stood out was that I was the youngest, shortest. I think maybe at some point later, like when we can go to upper class, when my mom now moved to another school, and then I had to move with her. Okay, just before we moved to another school, if it's just you and your mom, what's that relationship like? First of all, your mom is single. Thank God she has a job. Yeah. I mean, it's not just you and your mom, even your brother is there. Yeah. But just explain to me what's the dynamic in terms of relationship between you and your mom, and even you and your bro. I think for my mom, because of, and it's an African thing, and where we are coming from, I used to fear her. I think I feared her all my life because she's a teacher, so you see her as a teacher. So you never separate both of them. But then, if you allow me, the things, but maybe I can talk about that later.
You share as you want.
The thing I've come to notice even through that, which is quite interesting, that I was not with my father, but with my mother. And I was just reflecting that when it comes to women and leadership and how women are the ones who tend to take responsibility of what we might say are bad decisions. Because two people came together and a decision was made, but then it's a woman who tends to carry that with them going forward. And I'm not saying it was a bad decision, but I don't think I was someone who was planned for. So I just showed up and I was born. And then now she took over that decision and she had to carry me throughout her life. So
what you've said there is very powerful.
Yeah.
And the reason why I resonate so deeply with it was having this conversation with my dad.
Yeah.
My dad took me.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
And in that time, he was now telling me this.
Yeah.
So my parents have me, and my dad is the one who's like, who takes it. And he was telling me this literally like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And he was the laughing stock of all his friends. Wow. They're like, look at this guy. He's the one who's taking the kid. Yeah. So what you're saying is the norm. Yeah. Let me not even say was. Yeah. Is the norm.
Still the norm, yeah.
A child is hard.
Yeah.
Maybe the relationship between the parents doesn't work. Yeah. But the burden always goes to the mom.
Yeah. But then it's something you see men tend to walk away from from bad decisions easily. But the way women were brought up, they tend to carry the consequences of their decisions through life.
Yeah.
That's a pattern. That's how women have been taught to be, which is not accurate. But then that's how it is. So if you look at Kenya, if you look at where we are, you'll find there are a lot of more single mothers than single fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does this so
Yeah.
does this bad women carrying bad decisions, does it happen? Do you have another example that is outside of a child that where they carry that on? Have you seen?
I'm looking at even when I was a bit older, where you tend to, even let's say heartbreaks, or when you tend to get into situations and you'd find women carry the heart longer, or they tend to carry this. I mean, of course, now we're in the 21st century or 2025, and everyone is there talking about their emotions, etc. But even when we are growing up and looking out, if you see like a woman who was divorced, or a woman whose husband has died, then they take long to even get over that. But a man will be like, oh, 2 years down the line, they've married again. So they tend to move quickly.
But sometimes.
But I'm not saying
yes,
that is a bad decision,
yeah.
but sometimes the way we were taught, or the way women were naturally brought up, they tend to curate their lives along, this decision I made was bad, and this is what they carry in their minds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Is there a positivity for that? Is there a way that now that decision looks positive in terms of building resilience, building leadership? Like, is there something that it does that, what's the other side of the coin?
I think the other side of the coin is definitely women were meant to be better leaders than anything they've ever seen. So it's how, because of what women carry, or because of who women are, they tend to carry that. But then if they are raised or taught in a proper environment, they can become way better leaders than anyone has ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get more into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I've understood the dynamics between you and your mom, your environment. This is a jigsaw puzzle, different pieces, and you are putting them down quickly. I like it. No, I like it. No, quickly means clearly, like you're painting the pictures really well.
Yeah.
So you go to, in this school, your mom now gets transferred.
Yes.
You're in like class what, and
Class
what year
5,
is this?
I remember.
Class 5?
Yeah.
And what year is this?
1998.
Great! We're here too fast. This is how you know you're a young leader. But that's brilliant. Whether I'm in no way. Yeah. Normally in CTA by this time, we are still in 80s.
81. 18.
Yes, 18. Okay, 1998.
Yeah. So we moved to this other school. So it was a bit, now that's when we moved to Garariga. So the memory I have, even as I'm growing up, is from class 5 in Garariga.
Okay.
So when I look at, my lower primary, I was still very young, because it was between the age of 5 to 7, because I was 7 in class, 5, 6, 7. I was 8 in class 4. So I'm still growing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily remember as many things. I just remember going to school, coming back home, playing with kids. I mean, there are certain interactions I had when I was young, but also for me, it's what I remember very well is now when we moved to Garariga.
I get it.
Formed my life in growing up.
Okay, paint me. Where is Garariga? Let's start there.
Yes. So I grew up in Garariga village. It's a village in Limuru, a village. And the interesting part is when you say it's Limuru, people say it's just down the road, but people don't understand the dynamics. Like there are places there.
It's not your Brackenhurst.
No, it's not Tigoni. It's a village. It's a village. And this time we moved into this house. It's a stone house. We used to pay 1,000 per month, which was a struggle, by the way, to pay that amount.
Is there electricity?
They had electricity later.
Okay.
It was connected later. So we didn't have water, by the way. So we used to go fetch water with small gallons. So my mom would carry the big one and I'd carry the small one, and then would...
so you fetch from where? The river?
No, there are people who had boreholes, so they used to sell. So they'd sell like the small gallon for 3 bob and the bigger one 5 bob.
Wow.
And they're like, now you have to go like 3-4 times so that you get water for drinking, washing clothes, and washing the house. Yeah.
Now, that water, how long does it last you? How often do you have to go to get water?
Would go over the weekends because
Okay.
She's working.
Okay.
So would go on Saturdays, and then now you make sure you're mindful of the water that you use during the week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's not like you have a tank where you're putting this water in. It's into other containers.
In other containers. So you get a bigger container now where you'll be pouring into.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so tell me more about Garariga.
Yes.
Yes.
So Garariga was quite interesting. So when we got there, then now I was going now to Garariga Primary School.
Yes, which is not, it's not in the same compound.
No, that one was a bit far. It was actually I don't know how to estimate, maybe 5 kilometers. Like would walk. It's quite far.
Yeah.
Would walk. I don't know why it was that far. The village is quite big.
Yeah.
So would walk and walk and walk and walk to that particular school, and would walk. And now she was also teaching there. And then now we would stay on this other side where it's the village at the center. I remember where we used to stay. There was even a junction, some sort of junction, and that's where everything in the village happens. You'll hear everything, you'll know everything. Yeah, so that's the kind of environment where everyone is talking about anything. You can hear other parents who are beating up their kids.
Yeah.
Like it was a very interesting environment,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Like you were such a good storyteller, so I'm really seeing the picture of all of this.
Yeah.
And my mind is like, oh my God, this is how far you've come from.
Yeah.
You get the understanding.
Yeah.
For you to even be where it is that you are.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Because this, and also I like when I hear stories like this,
Yeah.
because I realize this is the stories of the masses.
Yeah.
The masses are not us Nairobians who are here. We are the ones who've made it out.
Yeah.
From these 54 million Kenyans,
Yeah.
this is the majority of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how you start now going to Garariga Primary School, class 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sorry. One last question. You said this Limuru, it's not just, again, my limited mind, I only know this version of Limuru. So where exactly are you? Where's Gara?
Garariga is on the highway. It's on Nairobi-Nakuru highway.
Yes.
So after the junction to go to Limuru,
Yes.
just a few, maybe 2 kilometers up the road. It's just on the road.
Okay.
And then now you go inside the
On
village.
this side, left.
On the left, yes. So
Okay.
you go inside the village, yes.
I get it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Above the escarpment, but now on this side.
No, on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway.
Where that junction comes, this way is towards the Butter.
Not in Limuru town. On Nairobi-Nakuru highway,
Yes.
there's a junction that goes to Limuru.
Yeah.
So you drive up, there's a swamp. It's called Mango Swamp.
Ah,
So just up 2 kilometers up the road
Okay.
on your left. Yeah.
you're right. There's a difference between Tigoni and the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue this story. But that is still Limuru. Limuru is pretty huge then, huh?
Yeah. It goes all the way to a certain place, then it starts Lari, where we were coming from. But I don't have memories for Lari. I have memories in Garariga because that's where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So class 5, now walk me
So
through.
class 5, we've gone. We're in this particular village, Garariga village, and we walk. I'd walk every morning to this place. Then would come back, just learning the kids in the village. And I remember playing with kids. And at some point, actually, we experienced discrimination. I experienced discrimination because I was a child from a single mother. Yeah, at that point in Garariga. So I remember some kids who be told, don't play with her. She's from a single parent family. So there was that.
So what's the discrimination about?
I don't even know, but people have different mindsets, or they're looking at it as if I'm going to be bad influence. So at some point, I remember a parent saying, no, she's bad influence, she's from a single parent.
So there's a stereotype about your background.
Yes, there's a stereotype at that point in Garariga at class 5. And I remember clearly that the lady, one of my neighbors, telling her child, don't play with this person because, she's bad influence because of this and this, because of her background.
Okay.
So that was quite interesting. But I still was, for some reason, talking to people. And then at around class 6, 7, another school came up around where we were staying, but they were starting from class 1. So I could not, so my mom was asked to move to this school and, you know, be one of the teachers,
Yes.
but I could not move with her.
Because there was no class 7.
Yeah. So I had to remain in this school. So one of the interesting memory I have is when she was moved, and then the next day I went to school and kids were like, we are going to revenge.
Wow.
You know, your mom has been beating us. You know, she's been shouting at us.
Wow.
So I remember I was going home and I was standing in the and I'm short. I'm so small. I'm standing in the midst of a crowd, and people are pinching me from all sides, so I can't tell what is happening. It's like a mob justice.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I tried to call this lady, this girl who I thought was my friend. How she even made it was, she's like, leave Mary. Yesterday she even said I'm a very big girl. So and now it became even worse. People were pinching me. She's like, yeah, she's also very bad. She's like her mother, whatever that concept they had. Because remember, they used to, you know, children used to be beaten up with,
yes.
by teachers.
Corporal
Especially now in the
punishment.
village, it's that, you know.
It's a beat down.
It's, yeah, African parents, they come to school and do that thing to you. Yeah, so that was quite interesting. I have that memory in me. So
that was traumatizing.
Yeah.
So did you make friends? Did you have friends? Did you move on? Did you block that?
I did make friends, but then I feel like because of experiences and always being the experiences and how the environment was, I was always trying to defend myself. So remember, I'm the youngest, so each class, I mean it was worse in high school, but each class, someone would remind me, oh, you know, you are this age, you know, you are the shortest, or, you know, you're, first of all, at the beginning, it was special to be a child of a teacher. Yes. Then at some point, it's not special. So you don't even know where it stands. So anything you are is a challenge.
Wow.
And so there's always a story whether you're wrong or you're right. So there's all that. But in all that environment, which I find interesting, for some reason, I was able to model something from inside of myself. And when I was 11, when I was class 7, one of my neighbors came and told me, so for all my life, we were Catholics.
I was going to ask you about church.
Yes, so all my life, we were Catholics. And yeah, I was now trying to be involved in church and now school, you know, just to socialize, I guess. People go to church to socialize. So that's what I was doing, just to get to talk to people, because for most of the time, I would be alone. But then this journey of a child who looked, maybe they were an accident, and then you're growing up and there are all these challenges that are being posed, or these things that are coming at you. I felt like the religious aspect helped me to mold a different way of life.
Wow.
Which was different. I didn't know God yet. I didn't have like a walk with God, but then it helped me draw certain things about who I was. So I remember in class 7, one of my neighbors came and they were like, oh, Mary, we go to this church, would you like to attend? So I'm a Catholic, but then they come and they post this question about this particular church. It was called Word of Faith. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I remember going, and I remember the day. I went on 20th October 20. I need to either tell me the date. I just remember it was 20th of October. How can I forget? I'll give you the date later. But then I went with them, and then I found this pastor saying, if you want to get born again, walk in front. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I just walked in front and I got born again, and then I went back and sat. So I went home and I told my mom, oh, I got born again. I don't think she would take me serious. She was like, these things for children.
Yes.
So, but at that point, there's a way I started now modeling my life according to what I was learning from that particular church, or what I was learning from the people I was interacting with.
So you started going to that church.
I started going, yeah.
So now
it looked like a joke. People didn't think I was serious. So I remember even some aunties had this belief that, you know, if you're Catholic and you've received, I don't know what type of sacrament, I don't remember, you will never leave a Catholic church. You will still come back. So even if you go, you will still come back. Well, I've never been back. It's like how many years later? But then they thought it was a joke. So
Yeah.
maybe I just started going to this particular church, and it started molding me in different ways
Yes.
than my environment.
You know, you don't, this whole story up until class 7, you don't sound like you're tight friends with anyone. You sound like, okay, let me ask you like this. Do you talk to anybody who you were in primary with?
Yeah, the people I talk to.
Oh, you do, eh?
Yeah.
Today?
Not today, but the people I had developed relationship with.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, because we went to the same high school, and they also appeared later in life.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have, okay, this chick who's invited you to church, maybe you're tight.
No, it's not a chick. This is quite interesting. It's a woman.
Oh.
So this is also, my life was quite interesting. I tend to cut across generations. Like even when I was at that age, and I remember my mom asking me, my friends were like 10 years older than me for some reason. Yeah, so even when I was in primary school, I'd tend to go looking for people who are older to hang around with.
Yeah.
Yes, I had people my age, but yet I will also interact with older people, and I found that has happened throughout my life. I tend to interact with older people or really young kids. It's interesting.
But isn't there a danger at that young age also interacting with older people?
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's things that they're doing that they may introduce you to. I mean, I've got 2 girls. If they told me they're going to hang out with some 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds, I'd be cautious because of just the things.
Yeah.
Did that affect you in any way?
It did. I mean, because it's a village, people don't even know much. I think. Oh yeah. So actually, I'd hang out at my neighbors or with my older people because we never used to have a TV.
Yeah.
So I wanted to watch TV. I really loved. So I'd go to my neighbors to watch TV. Or, so there was a Sunday after church, there was Sinbad. So I'd go to watch TVs from my neighbors, and that's how I'd interact with people. So there's not much. Of course, I think that's where I was introduced to the entertainment industry, because that's when there was MTV and all those shows.
Yes.
All those all those. That's why I discovered them from my neighbors. Because we never used to have, maybe, maybe.
No, it's exposure. Hey, exposure is not bad.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm like, expose yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm hearing the church has now come in. It's another piece that you've painted.
Yeah.
So explain to me now transitioning from primary to high school.
So I'll still go back to primary. So I think one of the interesting thing I find was I actually walked to, I actually walked to my mom at that point when I was 11 years old. And I told her I'm no longer Catholic. Yeah, that's why. And then she thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
But then many years, she was not getting what I'm saying. And then after that, I also had different interaction in church. And I remember being baptized for, at that point, because that's the understanding I had. And I remember coming to tell her, I can speak in tongues. Like, I used to get excited, but we were not in the same wavelength. Like, she's not understanding what is happening.
But you are involved in church. You're going deep.
Yeah, and I decided to even be going for Bible study every Sunday morning. So I was going deep. And for me, there's a hunger that I had at that. I was 11. There was a hunger that I was having at that point for identity, to know who I am, looking at where I've come from. I'm 11, but it feels like you're 18 because of the different experiences you've gone through. And maybe, I hope I've painted the picture clearly, but I feel like by the time I was 11, I was no longer like a normal child.
Yeah, you have.
You're in this place, you're going to fetch water, you have all these responsibilities. When you get home after school, you have to wash your uniform, hang it, and then make sure, it's dry. Come in the morning.
You're a village girl proper.
Yeah, it's a village girl proper. Like you make sure it's dry, make sure it's ready by morning, wake up early. I remember doing my homework till way late, and you don't have electricity, so you're using, I'm trying to remember, I know the name, the...
Kerosene lamps.
Yes, kerosene lamp. You have to make sure there's kerosene, like you have to go buy kerosene. You have to make sure the jiko is on,
Wow.
For food, in the evening when you come.
So of course you're cooking.
For some reason, I my mom used to cook more. For some reason, I find that interesting, but I could cook the basics. Or when I would try cooking, people would be like, we don't like your food. So that for some reason, that never rubbed off on me. Yeah. So I never like really cooked. Like, yeah, I don't even like cooking even today. So, yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, and Phil Karanja also said this. When we get the soft life, or when we come from the hardship and we omoka, we penya, we make it through into beginning to experience some of this soft life, and we get kids, we don't want those kids to go through the hardship.
Yeah.
But then when I listen to your story, I'm aware that these formidable years of your life are what have given you the strength to become this.
Yeah.
Saying all that to say, do you see the beauty of the village life?
Yes.
Okay.
I see the beauty because it's interesting. I was having the same conversation with one of the children I mentor, and I'm like, excuse me, I used to come home from school and wash my uniform. You can't wash one cup. You have to, you have to make sure, you're more responsible. You're thinking beyond your phone or beyond the internet. So it's for me, it helped me in so many ways, prepared me for life. Yeah.
And with as a leader and somebody who has a different generation under them, I mean, I've just seen your PA, that's bang on Gen Z.
Yeah.
Do you see some of these things that you have? Okay, as a leader, what are you looking for in terms of this resilience and this world of things that you feel is lacking in this generation?
One of the things that I keep saying is ownership, and coming to a place where we know we are not entitled, because what has happened to the generation, Gen Z, but in particular, even some people in our generation, millennials, we become so entitled, and we walk into places with entitlement, and we don't own our mistakes or the challenges that we have. And looking at, like I see my village life and how it shaped, being that it was a single mother who decided to take up the responsibility, but I didn't go in life blaming her. I actually, as a leader, without knowing, I started modeling my life differently, using the religious interactions I was having at that point, trying to dig deep on who I am, and out of that, I was not blaming her that you brought me to this world, because now I've even seen people in my generation who are always blaming their parents. My parents didn't give me this. In 1996 this happened to me. That's truly crap. Like people need to get over that and move to a place where you actually now model your life according to who you are, because now you are here. It's you. How do you now? Don't blame anyone. Now take responsibility and now start curating a new way for yourself as you grow older. Yeah.
We can spend 7 hours talking here. I watched a podcast. I don't know if it was Jules or something. There's a clip I saw, and she said something so profound that stuck with me. She said, by the after 30, you have no excuse. You can't blame your parents anymore.
Yeah, people blame their parents.
We can't even move it down to 25.
Yeah,
you get what I mean.
Even 11. At 11, I didn't blame anyone.
The sooner you can get into that space, but the problem with 11, like I think there's too much growing up that you did too fast.
Yeah.
At 11, you're still your parents' kids.
I know, right?
But that beauty of because every parent has something. You get what I mean? So that beauty of ownership, that thing that you've said, is a good place for us to take a break right here. We're coming back in a few minutes. Ownership, let that marinate, sink in, and share this city, because as you can clearly see, this one is Moto Hot Fire. We'll be back.
Thank you.